everyone, and welcome back to the channel and another brick model building video. Today we're gonna build the Tiger 2, and yes, it is another Quan Guan, but you know, I'm ready to give them a chance. This is a big thing. It is gonna be 1,563 pieces, so it is no small thing. Let's see if we can just get this instructions booklet out of the bag so you can see it better without the glare. And yeah, this is a Quan Guan, and I don't think you can buy these in Europe with the box because the boxes are quite big, so they ship them like this with the bags. And looks like your standard Quan Guan instructions. Looks pretty good. Let's see how many steps we have. 217 steps until we can have our tiger in our hand, and that doesn't include building the models because it does come with 6 models and individual weapons for them. So we can see here we're going to be able to see into the inside of the tank where it says so. We have a separate engine build, and that looks actually really cool. We have some fighting positions, fighting compartments for the driver, assistant driver, and some hatches that work. Obviously the turret should be able to turn, and the gun seems to be going up and down too. So this is it doesn't say it on the box or on the instructions, but I asked the seller, and it's supposed to be 1/28 scale. So we got 4 bags. One is marked bag 1, and one is marked bag 2, and then we have bag 3, and then we have general parts. So I see that we have the minifigures and so on in here, but there's some other figures or blocks too. So I don't quite know what that is, but we're gonna find out. Okay guys, this is gonna take a while for me, but luckily you will experience it 50 times faster than I will, and you can even skip ahead if you don't want to watch me build this. Don't miss the last 2 minutes of my building block videos because I always showcase my models with some really neat pictures and a nice video. Okay guys, see you in a moment. All right, guys, there you have it. It took me 5.5 hours to build this beast, and that is not counting the time sorting the pieces, which would add probably another 45 minutes or so, I would guess. I have both good and bad things to say about this model, but I would say that the majority is actually good, which is surprising for Quan Guan. First of all, we have our miniatures here, so I'm just going to show them quickly because, oh yeah, this is MP30 or MP40, I guess it's called maybe, and the SDG44. But yeah, we get six of these minifigures. I don't know why, since we know that this had a crew of 5, and they have helmets and stuff and camouflage instead of actual actual tank uniforms and so on. So that's a bit of a shame, but anyway, it is just the figures. So let's just get to start by the review, and then I start showing you some details of this. And since we have more good things to say than bad things, I'd like to start with the bad things just so we get it over. In general, I'd say that the build was very fun and very easy to follow, but in the beginning, as you were building, in the beginning of building the hull itself, there were so many different types of gray, and you know, it was too many types. I think 4 or 5 types of gray to keep track of, and it was just really hard for me to see the difference. Both the pieces themselves were hard to identify and sort, but it was also hard to follow in the manual which piece to actually use. And you know, at one time I was wondering, like, am I building the brick model of the movie 50 Shades of Grey? I never seen that movie. I know the ladies like it, but it felt like I was doing that because there was just so many shades of gray here. But that's just in the beginning, and it was, you know, it's not a super big problem. I suspect I might have used the wrong color here and there, but it's not really visible outside of the model, so it's a minor complaint. Then we have some really bad pieces, and it's the machine gun here, which I had to use a hobby knife in the mount here to scratch and scratch and scratch until I can finally get it in, and it's still, it comes loose very easily, so it doesn't really stick there. And it's the same problem with the machine gun up here on the hatchet, or on the hatch, I guess you call it. And both of these pieces come from something that looks like this, and I have really bad experience with this stuff that is usually really low quality. And I don't know how long I spent putting that turret ring up there. It was next to impossible. I must have spent at least 30 minutes doing that and getting that MG on and all of that. That turret ring is also from such a the turret ring is from this thing, and it was just my fingers hurt quite a lot now. I'm in quite a lot of pain from trying to put that turret ring with the MG up there. It was just next to impossible, and you'd really have to make it stick. And the same with the MG, you'd really have to use glue, and I think that's a real shame. Because that really made me, you know, it removed all the fun of the build experience when that was happening. So that was a painful 30 minutes that I wish that I would not have had to do. Another bad thing, or bad, I would just say that in this part of the build, it was really difficult to get this on here. I wonder if they could have done that some other way. I really had to spend a lot of time getting this on, but it was also partly due to my fault. These two were turned in the wrong direction, and these two were right. So if I had had them in the right direction, it probably would have been a lot quicker, but it was still very hard to do it when they were right. But I just want to point out that it's partly also my fault. And then we have the last bad thing, and that is part of the turret. So this was on this other side, it was very easy to put it together, but on this side it was impossible. and it was one piece must have been defect, because I had again to use the hobby knife, and I scratched and scratched and scratched, and finally it fit good. But before, if I popped it on, it would just shoot out of there, and there was no way to keep, be able to make it stick together. And that's all the bad things I have to say. And I mean, it sounds maybe like a lot, but those are, in my opinion, minor things. So what about the good stuff about this thing? Well, I mean, it's really cheap, and it kept me occupied for 5.5 hours with just the build, probably up to 7 hours with, sorting pieces and such like that. I really enjoyed building all of the hull was really fun to build, and instructions very good, easy to follow. So that was really fun. The turret got also, I would say the turret was also fun to build, but also got derailed with that defect piece and then these bad pieces. Otherwise, it was really fun to build. It looks really nice, as you can see. I really like it, and it's hard to describe in camera like this how big it is, but it is really big, and I think it looks great. And yeah, don't forget, always in the last minute of these videos, I do a showcase where I do really nice photos, and I also do a video, so you can really see how cool it looks. It has a full. Let's see here if I can pop this up. The turret. It is quite easy to open it up. As you can see, these pieces aren't stuck, so it's rather easy to open the whole thing up, which I really like. And then we can see inside here, we can see the interior. So here we have just this is just for your turret, and here you can't really see well. It seems like if I can change my light perhaps to make you see it. But yes, in the forward you can see the driver and assistant driver compartment. There's really not much there. There's 2 seats and a wheel, and then behind the assistant driver we can see that we have a Verbandkasten, so a first aid kit. And then when it comes to the engine, I think the engine is that's the coolest engine that I ever built, and it does come out. So in case that you wanna display this engine outside of the tank, you can do so, and it looks like this. And I'm not a Tiger tank nerd, so I don't know how well this engine represents the real deal, but I think it looks rather cool. And then you can easily pop that in again and pop all the things on. But anyway, I think that's where I'm gonna end my review. Again, I think for the price, this is a really cool tank, and I think it looks good. Has a few kinks, but you kind of have to suspect that or expect that when it's this cheap, I think that considering the price, I think it's a really cool tank, and yes, it could fix those kinks, and hopefully it does. I hope that Quan Guan really focuses a little bit more on finishing up their product, so before they start selling them, they really make sure that it doesn't have these little problems, because without these problems, this would have been a really amazing experience. But unfortunately, a very good experience got a little bit, not ruined, I wouldn't call it, but it got a little bit not so good because of these little problems that I experienced. Okay, guys, again, thank you for watching. Give me a comment what you think about this tank. Take a second to like the video. If you want to see more like this, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to help me a little bit extra, you can become a supporting member of the channel or do a one-time donation with YouTube Super Thanks or PayPal. And don't forget to stay and look at the pictures and the video of the finished build. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. See you next time.